I think it's safe to say that Autolog is one of, if not the biggest innovation from Need for Speed's third generation of games. If you don't know what Autolog is, you probably haven't been playing any Need for Speed games recently, but Autolog is a system that pits you against your friends in Need for Speed. Every race has its own leaderboards, in which you and your friends compete to achieve the fastest times on each course. It was introduced in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit in 2010, and has been expanded upon with every new Need for Speed game since, and has been a staple to the series since then. In recent entries such as Need for Speed Rivals and Need for Speed 2015, Autolog has kind of taken a backseat to the likes of Autodrive, which was basically why Rivals in 2015 were always online, and was pretty much scrapped. But with Need for Speed Payback, Ghost is axing Autodrive altogether, and it seems to be focusing more on Autolog. But I'm not sure they know just how important Autolog is to the game, and why Ghost should work on making Autolog an important part of the game once more. Now, I know Need for Speed Payback is in its final weeks of production, and I'm not a game developer, but I'm sure Ghost could implement any of my ideas in future updates. And I think that these ideas wouldn't be too hard to implement, since the basis is already there. Before I get into any of my suggestions for improving Autolog and Payback, I just want to stress how much Autolog can add to the replayability of a game. Take Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 for example. Now, bear with me, I know a lot of you hate Most Wanted 2012, but Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 implemented some really good ideas with Autolog. Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 implemented Autolog 2.0. With Autolog 2.0, Criterion pretty much expanded on what Autolog was in Need for Speed The Run and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Criterion implemented a system that always kept you in the know-how with what times your friends were setting and when they beat one of your times. They even had a handy menu where you could jump right into the race when they beat your time in it, so you could take back your crown. Another thing with Autolog 2.0 was the billboard system, where whoever set the highest score while jumping through one had their mugshot plastered on that billboard with a police tip line. This also added so many hours to the game, with me trying to get my profile picture, which was this, on as many billboards around Fairhaven as I could. It was 2012, shut up. Now with the addition of Autolog 2.0 was the most wanted list. Now I think this is the biggest addition of all, with Autolog 2.0. Now what was unique with this was how it displayed who was most wanted on your friends list. This was what had me spending hundreds of hours trying to get myself to the top. I only got to number 11, but it still added tons upon tons of hours of me trying to grind just to get somewhere close to the top. Autolog basically added hundreds of extra gameplay hours to Most Wanted 2012. Now, I feel that these features could also add hundreds of hours of gameplay to Payback. One thing Need for Speed 2015 lacked was a real drive to take your friends' times in Autolog to try and better them. Sure, you had the leaderboards when you hovered over the race, but you never really had any incentives to do so. Like, Autolog just kind of took a backseat. It wasn't really there. I mean, you had Autodrive and all that, but Autodrive's kind of shit. Now, onto my suggestions for Ghost games. I'm gonna be talking mainly about what I just addressed with Most Wanted 2012, but I'm gonna be kind of turning them around and hopefully suggesting them to be added into Payback. My first suggestion is a menu to easily go to any race where a friend is taking your time, and allow you to quickly jump into that race and then take your spot back on the leaderboard. This is just like a quick, easy way so you don't have to go around manually looking for races that your friends have beat. You can just go right into that menu, see all the races where you've been beaten, and win them back one by one. How Most Wanted 2012 did it. It was so simple and easy in Most Wanted 2012. I feel like they can implement a system like that in Payback. I did see a system in one of the gameplay where it showed that someone beat the person's time and they could choose the different car to go and beat it again. So that's also a really good step in the right direction. My second suggestion is to add a form of reminder while driving around the city that someone on your friends list is better than you at something. Sort of like the billboards in Most Wanted 2012, only this might be harder to implement as the billboards in Most Wanted 2012 were designed to be smashed. Although in the race gameplay you could smash the billboard, but I doubt it's like that for every billboard in Payback's world. But maybe have a system where every time you log into Autolog, you get a police blotter which brags about someone escaping a long pursuit or taking out 20 cop cars in one pursuit, something to reward skilled drivers on your friends list. Now my third and biggest suggestion to Ghost is to implement the Most Wanted list from Most Wanted 2012. You could call it something different, but I think the Most Wanted list kind of gets its point across. These are the most wanted drivers in Fortune Valley. They are the cream of the crop. They are who you strive to be. They are who you want to beat. Just having this list alone, I guarantee, will add hundreds, if not thousands, of additional game time. It will add hours upon hours upon hours of replayability. And once you've finished a campaign, once you've defeated the house, this can pretty much be your second campaign. This could be your own personal story. This can pretty much be your end game goal, to reach the top of the most wanted list. With the most wanted list, you should be able to also filter it to your liking, having different tiers or different lists, such as the most wanted drivers on your friends list, the most wanted drivers for your region, like for example becoming the most wanted driver on Need for Speed Payback from Pennsylvania, California, or London, etc. And also, of course, have a global most wanted list, the cream of the crop, the top 1% drivers in Need for Speed Payback all across the board, every single console. Just have one list. And obviously you have a different list for who's the top on PlayStation, who's the top on Xbox, and who's the top on PC. And constantly reward the people who are on the top. Like shout them out on the Twitters and all that. Maybe give them special cars or special boosts and stuff just for being in the top 10 or top 5 on the most wanted list. This can also just add another incentive for people to strive to be on the top of the most wanted list. Now, one thing I do want to touch upon with most wanted 2012's list was there was a speed point cap. This took a lot of replayability away from the most wanted list in 2012 because you were only limited to 50 million speed points, which sounds like a lot, but I've had people on my friends list who've the top 3 people on my friends list would all have 50,000. They all have the same, and they're all tied. With Payback, I hope that the reputation system, it's just infinite, so you could keep climbing. There's never a tie. There's always one spot ahead. There's someone always at the top. There's always someone better on the top. So this way you can still keep trying to reach the top of the list 5 years after the game comes out. Something else Ghost can also add to the system is the ability to start your own list with its own parameters and stuff, like a club or a group. For example, me, Cam, Richard, Jay, and some other Need for Speed YouTubers could start our own most wanted list and see where we rank up on the list and constantly battle each other. I feel like just adding that little feature alone can where people are creating their own most wanted list with their own parameters and stuff, it can just add so many things, and everyone has the same list. Because the main problem you have with your friends list is not everyone on your friends list is friends with the same people, so everyone's list is going to differ. But if you have something like this where you can create your own groups of friends and stuff and constantly battle the list out, and invite other people to come and try and beat you as well, I feel like that could actually make it a lot more competitive because everyone has the same list and they're constantly trying to get to the top. In closing, I hope Ghost takes this most wanted suggestion into consideration, and aside from the billboard system, I don't think this would be too hard to implement. The basis for it's already in place with Most Wanted 2012, and the scoreboard system still lives on from Need for Speed 2015, so I don't think this would be too hard to implement. Then again, I'm not a game developer, so I'm not sure how hard this would be to implement. And I don't expect this system, if implemented at all, to be put out at launch. Need for Speed Payback is in its final weeks of development, and the folks over at Ghost Games are hard at work putting the final touches on Payback. But maybe once all the dust settles on Payback, post-launch, maybe we could see a system like this implemented. I think it would be a really good idea. If you would like to see a system like this in Need for Speed Payback, be sure to let Ghost know. Ghost Games is great at listening to fans and implementing fan request things into their games. Things that fans have requested have always keep getting put into the game. Just look at Need for Speed Payback for an example. So many of the things we requested from Need for Speed 2015 are in Payback. Now, I've said my piece. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to be covering Need for Speed Payback a lot when it comes out, so be sure to do that. But that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good one.